All right. Now, my guest in the studio already seated. To my right is the Director of Communications of the NPP, Honorable Nana Okomia. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing great.
Oh, well, it's a Friday.
It's a Friday. And so, we're sure our cake is ready. It's a secret between the team and Nana every Friday.
Yeah.
All right. To my left is the first vice chair of the NDC, Honorable Samuel Fosu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing good too.
Yeah, by God's grace.
Great, a weekend, and we're getting ready to take some rest. All right, so let's start with the Daily Graphic story talking about two teacher unions not happy about what they claim to be basic education problems. And they're asking that to deal with these WAEC poor results, we need to tackle the problems with education. Now, NAT and NAGRAT are suggesting, for instance, that infrastructure, teaching and learning materials, building the capacity of teachers, improving the school environment, and some other challenges are key to ensuring that when the results are out, we will not be too sad. They talked also about They talk also about the fact that teachers are not being given what is due them at the appropriate time. And for instance, suggesting that the bigger issue is that the nation would have to look at our resources and allocation and plan for our development very well, because according to them, education thrives on development. Mr. Fosu, let's start with you on this one. Now, two teacher unions are simply suggesting that the problems with the basic education infrastructure, teachers' capacity and lack of resources or inadequate resources are the reasons for the poor WASI results. And so in tackling this problem, we need to fix that.
Well, I think I perfectly agree with them that you need to have a very strong foundation before you can build a proper superstructure for education. And the foundation starts with the basic education. If well defined, I mean, now starting from kindergarten, government has taken over kindergarten education, because that is where it all starts. Once you are able to build a very strong foundation for the children, they are able to go through basic education and eventually go through senior high school, and the performance will always be better. If you look at the issues that they are raising, that's exactly what government has committed itself over the past few years in doing. For instance, we talk about infrastructure, and the basic infrastructure. You can only have a very healthy environment for teaching and learning when first you have created an environment where that activity can thrive very well. And one of the basic things is to have good classrooms. And so government continues to provide basic infrastructure in terms of classroom blocks for the schools. And so far, my indications are that over 578 schools under trees have been constructed. And you go to communities. I have worked in rural communities as a district chief executive. I understand exactly what basic infrastructure means for the people, because if you don't have the classroom and rain threatens, once they look at the weather and realize that the rain is imminent, school closes and everybody goes home. So if it continues for 2-3 days, then it means that classes will not be able to be held. But thank God, the issue is being resolved frontally by the construction of numerous basic classroom infrastructure. Again, you also have to look at teachers' accommodation, because one of the challenges has been that if you put up a classroom block in a community, and I have gone to communities where the best accommodation you can get is a thatch house, and somebody attends training college, the person uses WC, the person sleeps in a dormitory, electricity, etc., etc. The person completes his teacher training education, and the person is posted to a community where basic accommodation is unavailable. I mean, it creates problem, both psychological and then what are the social problems are created. So government tackling the issue of teacher accommodation alongside the classroom block is very critical, because once you have the teachers there and you have the classroom there, at least they've raised issues about books and others. This government is credited to have supplied textbooks such that the average of 1:3 textbook has been exceeded, and now we have a 1:4. So textbook is not a challenge now. Exercise books are being supplied, free exercise books have been supplied, support has been given to children in deprived communities. Those who don't even have access to school uniform and sandals and others are all being provided. So when you look at all those, what is also the missing link is supervision.
From the GES?
From the GES. Because I believe that you also have you need a very strong supervision department. I remember very well that in our olden days, they would say that the supervisors come in canvas, so that when we're in the school, they just enter the classroom without you noticing them. You see, once you have a very strong supervisory systems to ensure that the work of the teacher is supervised, monitored, and evaluated, of course, then you'll be able to address all these challenges. So it is a challenge, but then I believe
some
that
improvement.
In fact, they themselves, if you listen to them, they themselves, even the results of the WASI for this year, it's an improvement. The general results, an improvement over the previous years. And if you take the graph and you want to check, you realize that over the years there is still improvement. From 2006, it was 12.51%. Those who got aggregate A1 to C6.
C6, right.
Then 2007, it came to 10.58. There was a drop. 2008, it went to 12.95, a slight improvement. 2009, it came to 14.58. Fast forward, 2011, it came to 26%. 2012, 31.19%. 2013, there was a drop, 19.15%. And then 2014, 28.10%. When you check the current results against even last year one, there is still, you see a certain trend of improvement. Right. And I believe that improvement is as a result of several interventions that government has made in terms of quality teacher education. You know that our teacher training colleges are now college of education that are pursuing diploma and post-diploma programs to strengthen their capacity. Even those who did Set A and others are giving post-primary diploma top-up programs in order to strengthen the capacity of the teacher. So I believe that constant and training and retraining of teachers is very key in all these things. So all hope is not lost. I believe that there is still light at the end of the tunnel, and what we need to do is to sustain the funding of education. Sometimes you realize that about 1/3 of the total budget of education, for instance, goes into remunerations. But thank God, because of the establishment of Get Fund, today there's a lot of development all over the country, both at the basic level, both at the secondary level, and at the tertiary level.
But most of these Get Fund projects are hanging. I mean, the not completion is a problem if you travel around.
A lot of them have been completed. In fact, when I was in the Eastern region, for instance, as a regional minister, I know the number of projects. In fact, that was when we started this accelerated programs. When we had this 3 years, 4 years concurrently running, there was an accelerated program of providing infrastructure to take care of that transition. And so several projects have been, in fact, as far as I know, several projects that has been undertaken by Get Fund has been completed. What it is that as they keep on working on it, more projects are being awarded and they are being completed. So it's an ongoing process. And I think that in terms of infrastructure, a lot is going on. Both at you go to the colleges of education, and in all the 38 colleges of education in this country, you will see that there's massive work going on there.
I'm grateful, Mr. Sampos, for your submission there. Nana, so government is making the efforts. It's infrastructure, which the two teacher unions talk about. Government is putting in a lot of effort. And Mr. Sampos is suggesting, for instance, that we need to do a lot more by way of supervision, because from the figures we have, the performance is good except that perhaps a few things will have to be put right. And he says government is working hard at that.
Well, let me wish our audience a good Friday morning, and your good selves, and my senior brother, Professor Ampofo. Yes, on this matter of education, what is the story about?
The teacher union suggesting that we need to deal with the challenges of education if we need to improve the WASI resource. In fact, the resource, according to the information we have, is better than previously, except that the failure this time is quite huge, the numbers.
So there is a problem?
There is.
So why are we pretending there's no problem? Because these stories, the teachers coming out and asking for stuff to be done at a basic level, implies that there is a problem with the results this year, isn't it?
There is.
There's a problem with the results this year. Otherwise, they would not be complaining and making suggestions. Look, the results this year have been disastrous.
That's not true.
Okay.
The fact does
So-
not support that.
Well, it's okay. But so why are teachers coming out with all this prognosis?
Well, generally, the results is saying that it is an improvement over 2015. Now, the worry here is about the failures. About over 1,500 had some subjects results withheld. Over 500 more have been barred from writing the exam.
Now-
So the challenges have got to do with perhaps some subjects that the students fail. That's really
So
teacher
essentially,
unions are not too
what I'm
excited
saying
about.
is very simple. That if these results are improvements, why all these concerns?
No, but there is always a review.
Okay, fine.
There's always a review. You cannot have results every year when WAEC comes out with their results.
Yeah.
Review is made. They look at the strengths, the
Yes.
weaknesses. For instance, they are talking about the sciences.
Can I finish?
mathematics
Exactly.
as well and so forth.
Yes, can I finish? Now, what percentage pass for university?
Well, for now, the figures are not too clear, but the indications are that about 140,000 people cannot go to the university because of failures in certain subjects.
Well, the statistics are that only 43% are eligible for university. More than 50% cannot go to university. Now, when you have an educational system where more than half the people who sit the examination cannot go forward, there's a problem. More than 50%, as we speak, cannot enter university. The core subjects of mathematics, for example, only 33% passed in mathematics. 33, just about one third. One third of the students that went into the WASI, only one third passed in mathematics. That's a huge problem. Even in English, which is the language that, 54% pass in English. 54. Science, 49. So there's a problem. The statistics don't look good. Now, if we are being told that they are better than last year, it means that the standards of education in this country is poor, despite the propaganda. Because if you have a situation where 33% pass in mathematics, and we are being told that is a very good result compared to last year, compared to last 2 years, it means last 2 years the results were worse.
It doesn't mean it is improving. If it was bad last year, and
Now, I'm saying that, but it means it's a reflection on the whole educational system. That when you listen to my brothers, the kind of noise that they make, free Sanders, I mean, if you ask him, he can recite 500 things that they are doing in education. At the end of the day,
you have not seen them.
no, I mean, I wouldn't say they are not telling the truth, but how is it said? It said that something of the padding is in the eating.
The eating, okay.
Yes. So we can't go and check if they've distributed 2 million Sanders, like they are saying, or they've built 500 or 5,000 teacher bungalow. We can't go and check. But what we would check is the result. Because if all of these are going on, as is being said, it must reflect in the results.
You don't think supervision is...
I'm saying that when you have a 33% pass in core subject like mathematics, it cannot be an impressive result. It cannot. And if we are being told that this is better, it means last year it was even worse. And last 2 years, it was even worse. So what it means is that across the educational sector, there's a major problem. That all of these things that we are being told are being done do not seem to reflect in the results. And it's the results that will show if something meaningful is being done or not. It is the results. You understand? I mean, if your child is going through classes and you extra classes and you say you're getting teachers to private teachers in the home and they are going to extra classes and you're buying books and they are not able to proceed. Then what it means is that there's a problem with whatever you say that you are doing. Wouldn't you agree? Because
of course there is. But
what
about what Mr. Ufambo says that, look, we should also take a look at how GES is supervising these schools. The infrastructure can be there, but if sufficient is not good, we might not be getting the results that
you see. Whatever it is, the picture is not as rosy. That's what I'm saying. You understand? And you heard my brother going on and on and on and on. You heard him 2 minutes ago. And then you look at the results. See, so all of these things that they say they are doing, how come we are getting these results? You understand? So that's where the problem between the reality and the talk. You see, there's a major gap between what is on the ground, what is happening on the ground, and the talk. Because when you at this level, and only 33% passed in mathematics, and less than 50% passed in science. And these are core. When we talk core subjects, you understand. Those are the fundamentals. They are the other ones that are not core. But core is maths, science, English. English was 54%. That one, at least, it passed the 50% mark. Not by much, but at least 54. Fine. But core subject of mathematics, 33%.
Have you been able to diagnose what government is perhaps doing wrong?
And then the core subject of science, less than 51% failed in science. So if we are being told that these results are even better, say, what is happening? If 33% pass in maths, 49% pass in science, we are being told this is better. It means last year it was worse. So there's a problem that we must deal with. And you get the teachers suggesting some things that have to be done and so on. So let's see what the teachers are saying.
They talk about government putting in resources.
But you see, government is telling you, my senior brother here was telling you the resources that they are putting in. What are the teachers talking about? What are they talking about? Let me see the things that they're asking for. What are they asking for?
They're talking about resources, building the capacity of teachers. They're talking about learning materials, teaching materials, and all that. They are suggesting that these things are inadequate.
But now, when you listen to my brother, Ofosu Ampofo, can you understand what the teachers are talking about?
Perhaps the teachers...
For example, he's talking about massive resources, teacher training, the teacher incentives. That's the green book, the famous. Look at what they say they are doing. Can you give me the green book?
You want to look at his green book?
I want to use some when you are coming bring it. The other time I give you one. I won't give you.
I want to see what you've done for the teachers.
Okay, let me get Mr. Sambos in for a minute. I'll come back.
You see, education is key to the development of every country. And when it comes to the issue of education, we must be very careful in the way we analyze things. You see, Nana started by saying, oh, it's a disaster. Until I drew his attention to the fact that by the time they were leaving office, 2009, those who passed between grade A1 and
who could go to the university,
was 14.58. And in 2011, it was 26%, 2012, 31%. Then it dropped to 19.1% in 2013. 2014, it was 28%.
And this year's how much?
Well, I think when
the figures
normally when they finish, they put everything together before, but they've disaggregated it here. But I'm saying that if you look at where you ended, 14.5%, and you take even 2014, it's a double of that performance, and you call it a disaster.
But
no, let me land.
Is it not legitimate to say that?
What I'm saying is that there is a gradual improvement, there is a progressive improvement in the results at the years now, and that shows that if you put in the resources, if you put in the right structure, if you put better teacher quality education at the training colleges, you push in more textbooks, and then you look at teachers' welfare, remuneration, and others. So all what the teachers are saying is that even though there is an improvement of this results over the previous one, there is still more to be done. And it at least gives us hope.
So then
the hope is that
Nakumia's difficulty is that if indeed the resources are in, there's an improvement from 2009 of 14% to about 28% in 2014. The resources are being put, the teachers' capacity are being built. Why don't we have enough people get into our universities?
Yeah, because, for instance, if you take teacher education, you know that when government came with this policy of ensuring that the teacher colleges of education upgrade to tertiary level, and they should assess the student loan trust. It has created an opportunity for teacher colleges of education to almost triple their intake, because as we speak now, we still have classrooms without teachers. So once you do this, and in about 2 years now, teacher training intake has increased, which means that as the years roll by, there is a likelihood that we'll be able to fill all the classrooms. If you fill all the classrooms and you improve upon quality education at the teacher training level, and you improve upon the infrastructure and all these things, then the story is what you will see. You will see a gradual improvement. In fact, you can never get a dramatic change.
Are you able to answer why, for instance, Nat and Margaret are complaining of inadequate resources, they're complaining of inadequate infrastructure, learning and teaching materials? Are you able to understand why?
Yes, I do. Because, listen, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama introduced the community day secondary schools. If you watch on the TV, Catching Chumuru, the structure they were using as a senior high school, and what they are using now, I can assure you that the teachers themselves who are teaching and the students themselves, because of the kind of environment they find themselves in today, they have libraries, they have good classrooms, they have chairs, they have everything. Just check the years that will be ahead of us. You see that there will be an improvement. So it doesn't take magic and then dramatically move from 12.5% in 2006 and say that you get to 80%. It's a gradual improvement, and that gives me hope for the future. So it is not a hopeless situation. And all what we need to do is to commend our teachers and ask them, in the face of all these challenges, to continue to give up their best. But what do? We look at the curriculum, we look at factors. There are certain factors. We are talking about English language. You know what is happening now. Today, this WhatsApp and others. And so we must also come down and check. Education is a shared responsibility. What role are parents playing? What role is the society playing? Government has its own role. Parents have their own role. And the students themselves have a role to play in order to ensure that all stakeholders come together to improve the level of education. This is not a matter of about politicization. It's a matter of everybody putting his or her shoulders to the wheel to ensure that the education enterprise moves forward.
Nana, perhaps this is explanatory enough for you. That there are challenges, but the improvement we're seeing and will be seen very soon, and that it needs all of us to be part of the process.
My brother used the word politicization. What's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? When you are discussing issues and you are pointing out difficulties, they say you are doing politicization.
Well, you started by saying disaster. You started by saying disaster. And there's nothing disaster about this resource.
Okay.
So you started
it. Well, no. I find, and I'm sure that is also the concern of the teachers, I find that when you have exams nationwide, and only 33% of they are able to pass core subject of maths, I find that as a disaster. If you don't find it so, that's okay. But it is not politicization. Now, Bright, as my senior brother was looking at I can see the diagram that is over there.
The improvement.
Yes, but you see, just drop your hand a little bit.
Okay.
You see, when you look at the diagram that is in front of him, you can see that he gave the end point of 2008. But you can see
except from 2006 to...
Yeah, no, but you can see that there's always been gradual improvement.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's a dramatic improvement from 2011. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes,
so if you look at this one, you cannot say that it's a hopeless situation.
No, but Bright, you can see yourself that there's a gradual improvement every year.
Yeah, there is.
Up to
from 2006
to 6. Yes, the WASI came in 2006. You can see there's a gradual improvement all the time. All the time. Okay? Now, he says there's a dramatic improvement in 2011, 2012. The 4-year program.
Right.
That accounts for that.
We are talking about 2014.
No. This is
2012 has 31.19%.
This is 2011,
Okay.
2012. That dramatic improvement that you are talking about is in 2011, 2012. That is when the 4-year program.
So you're suggesting it's because of the 4-year program?
No, but I don't even want to go there.
Okay.
But if you do the kind of aid that he's trying to do, I'll point it out to him that dramatic improvement he's talking about is because of the 4-year program that was introduced in 2008 and that terminated in 2012, and that is where you have the dramatic improvement in your own document, your famous green book. Now, you can see clearly that there's always been a gradual improvement from 2006 and it's continuing. But my problem, and I'm sure that's the problem of many Ghanaians, is that the way these people trumpet whatever improvement there is in education, which every government will do. Because when you look at 2006 and 2008, with the improvement in the results, it means that incentives were being put in. But when you hear these people talk, it's as if no government did anything. They are the only people who came and are doing things, and nobody else did something. That is why we try to match the talk and the reality. So with all the talk that they do, you heard him earlier on reciting them. I'm sure they've written.
There are several others, but that's what I'm wondering if you have
these
not
are
seen.
facts. These are facts.
Yeah, I'm asking
So
if you
I
have
want
not
you to
seen
dispute any of them. These are facts.
Projects
but see, Bright, my point is simple.
All right.
All the things that they are talking about. You see, you cannot go and count.
And so are you disputing them?
No, I'm not. I can't.
No, he's not disputing.
The man is a senior elder in the church.
He's a senior elder.
Yes, I cannot look into his face and say he's lying.
All right.
But I am entitled to look at the results.
Okay.
It is the results that will show me if what they say they are doing
It's indeed on
is
the ground.
indeed on the ground or not.
No, let's tie in this issue because you brought it. I wanted us to take it.
But you brought
the
33% pass in maths.
Okay, all right.
Isn't it a disaster?
Okay, all right. Looking at what you have put in, that's from where you're coming from. Now, so you mentioned, for instance, or you suggested that the 2011-2012 results is as a result of the 4-year scheme. Professor Yanka of Central University College is suggesting, for instance, that perhaps the 3-year SS thing is not working. The chief of Sevianyaso in the Western region, Ojia Hwaho Yaojibi, is also asking your flag bearer to bring back the 4-year school system, SS system, because he thinks that is the reason why the results are that bad. Is the MPP thinking about that?
When you say the results are that bad, they will say you are doing politicization. But you see, Bright, Bright, you see, I mean, this green book, I haven't bothered much with it.
Oh, but he said he's giving you one.
Okay, I would go ahead.
You're not reading it.
No, it's okay. Right. Looking at the green book, and indeed, I'm sure this will be of interest to everybody.
Yes, the cameras can capture it.
You see, looking at the green book, the period 2012, this is the highest
31%
performance. This is the highest performance. And it's the 4-year. The 4-year was introduced in 2008. They finished in 2011, 2012, and that is the highest performance. So just looking at the results alone will tell you that there is something in the 4 years. In the 4 year. I think the main reason why the NDC said they were not going to do the 4 year was on the basis of cost. Because otherwise, why not do it? Because it had already started. It was the basis of cost. But as we speak, right, the children who today would not be able to go to university do not qualify. 131,000. What is going to be the cost of these 131,000 young men and women the ages of 17 and 18 who couldn't go to university because they couldn't qualify? You see, so we will be focusing on cutting costs. You know, I think there's some saying that penny wise, pound foolish or something. You'll be concentrating on saving costs, and you'll be incurring more costs. Because 131,000, 33% are able to go to university. The rest are not able to go. 131,000. It's a major cost to everybody, to parents, to government, and all of that. So the statistics show that the 4-year performance, the performance of the 4 years, is much higher than any of the years since 2006.
Can we just use 1 year to make that conclusion?
Yeah, but that was the only year.
Okay, all right.
That was the only year for the 4 year. We don't have, you know, it was cancelled.
It was cancelled.
But those in it already finished their 4 year. And their results. And you see, the other thing too is this, Bright. As we speak in this country, the economy is not doing well to absorb young people who come out of school. So in this kind of situation, it is better to keep young people longer in school so they can broaden their knowledge and do better in examinations than rushing them out, and they will come out not having this same knowledge that they could have acquired, and also not having a job because the jobs are not there, because the economy is not growing as well as it should. So even on the basis of the relationship between the production of graduates and jobs, it's in your own interest that you keep them longer in school. If there were so many jobs available and you are getting manpower shortages, then you want to get people through school quickly. I remember my parents telling me that, you know, when Kwame Nkrumah was establishing so many factories in those days, he brought something they called the Accelerated Education Program. And so my mother would tell me that as a result of that, all of them passed through very quickly, because there was obviously a plan and there was a demand for labor and so on. Now the economy is not doing so well. Is way behind the increase in the people finishing school. So why rush them?
Well, I think if you look at the report, the tail end, it says every stakeholder, parents, teachers, the government, etc., students themselves, have a role to play, and said that indication that duration was a non-starter, and there was others who had done it in 3 years and have performed very well. The question is that, why are others performing very well? In fact, even in 3 years. In these 3 years, some of them are having fantastic results, 7 A's, 8 A's, and others. So I believe that it is a question of one attitude. I mean, it's a question of the overall.
Senior, I'm not cutting you. See, we are not taking this off your microphone. Okay, Senior, I'm not cutting you, but just a small point. You see, we are not talking about individual performances. You understand? You see, so I mean, you can have somebody even 2 years and they'll blow all A's, but that would not be the average.
So you're looking at the general.
Yeah, the general thing. You've closed the page. You've closed the page. If you open the page again, you will see very clearly that the highest performance was the 4 year.
Was in 2012.
I think that if you look at it critically, one cannot end on that conclusion, because even in that year, I think that there were two
batches.
The 2 batches, 3 years and 4 years, who sat the examination the same year. And so you unless you disaggregate it before you'll be able to come out of that competition.
We need to stay with the 3 years.
My issue is that it is not how long you stay. First, if you put in order, somebody can go and stay there for 5 years and will still not make it. I am saying that let us see what role each of the stakeholders will play to ensure that if you provide the books, you provide the infrastructure, you give them teachers, and the students themselves are not, up to it, are not prepared to learn. We have a problem. We are talking about English, and I'm saying that look at the English issues. What are some of the factors that have contributed? I have an English teacher who tells me that some of the children write essays and they are using short codes that they use on WhatsApp and all those things. So I think that as parents, we need to monitor. As society, we need to play a role to ensure that everybody, plays a certain role to ensure that. Otherwise, it's not a question. You can just increase it to 5 years. People will still go there. When we had 5-year secondary education, people go there, stay there 5 years O level, and some come of FFFF. So it is not that. I think that we need to look at what is wrong. Science and maths, key. Why? Is it a question of not having more science teachers, more maths teachers? Let us address all those issues. Those are the issues that are germane to finding the solution to why we are getting low scores in mathematics and science. For all you know, how many science teachers are concentrating on the teaching of science and maths? And so these are the things that we have to look at. When they brought the science and mathematics class for girls, there was every indication that after the program ran for some time, girls were doing very well in the sciences and mathematics than boys. So it depends on what intervention we bring at any point in time to ensure that we are able to address these issues head on.
I'm grateful.
Two quick points.
Okay.
The first
Then
one,
we'll move on.
my senior brother here is a very senior member of the NDC. They should cut down the propaganda.
What is propaganda?
Number 2.
What is propaganda about this?
Number 2.
Okay.
You see, there's always this fundamental problem that affects all of us. The people like he and myself, who you can say are managers of the system or would be managers of the system. We don't have our children in the system. There's always that problem. The man or the woman who's managing the system, his or her children are outside the system. So it affects what he would put into the system. I don't know if we can come to the place where we would say that every minister or political appointee should have their children in the public system. And you would see the kind of attention and focus that will come onto the public system. But they should cut the propaganda.
Well, you see on that score, let me say that a borders on supervision. Because people set up their private schools, and because the ultimate is to at least break even, they ensure that they supervise teachers to teach, they supervise students. So I think it's a collective responsibility that as public schools are state schools, the supervision is key, and we must emphasize on it and ensure that people deliver results at the end of the day.
I agree. But it's we, the managers, who must make sure the supervisors go and work.
Okay.
If you don't have your children there, how are you going to bother?
Okay, let's touch on this one for the Ghanaian Times. You would find out that
Ofusuan Pofo will go to the school where his children are to find out that the teachers are there. He won't go to the school.
I can assure you that my commitment to public schools is higher.
I'm getting too many of
you go to my villages and check my contribution towards those public schools.
Okay, let's look at this one. The Ghanaian Times is talking about CLOGSAG backing down on demands, agreeing to go back to work after signing an MOU. We can from this story. The Ghanaian Times is saying that they have agreed, they have accepted in good faith President Mahama's assurance that government will meet the demands of its members next year. And so they have decided to sign an MOU suggesting that government will indeed meet the agreement and go back to work. Government desire to stay within budget and not given to certain demands, can we say, is working here?
Well, I mean, I also have an issue. The surveys that have been done, and my party issued a statement on that, and I'd like to discuss that.
Which service?
The service. You are looking at that in the somewhere in the graphic, I think. You are looking at the story.
Which service?
Are you the one setting that?
But I'm saying to you, I'm saying to you that I'm going to look at it.
We'll take a look at
it. And then I will also look at the survey.
The CDD survey. Okay,
yes.
Let's deal with this one.
Now,
yes, and then we'll deal with
this matter of the CLOGSAG.
Yes.
I don't know what the president is talking about. The president is promising that next year he will pay the market premium. Who told the president that he'll be in power next year? I don't understand.
So he can't even tell himself he'll be in power next year?
No, who told him? He's not the one going to put himself there.
Oh, but he is assured he will be in power.
Please.
So
he is not the one to put himself there. It's the people of Ghana. So you must wait for the people of Ghana. Not you going to tell them next year you will do this for them. It's I don't want to use harsh words on the president this morning. But really, you are not assured that you'll be in office.
His party has not assured.
Please, no political leader can be assured. So you don't go and make commitments. You see, you can run your mouth and say, I would win. I mean, hey, Kwesi Ndum says you will win. Ekwe Adonko says she will win. Now that she's getting so much from the NDC. The last time they gave her 2 big cars and a big house.
Now, were you there when she was giving the cars and
now,
the houses?
Bright.
Don't pedal.
Were you there when he was giving the cars?
The NDC has not given anything to anybody.
No, you were not there. Okay.
The NDC has not given anything to anybody. So you are this platform, please.
I know.
And I'm saying that as a vice chairman of the NDC,
the point I'm making is
on authority
you were not there when she was given. So
anything.
you cannot categorically say that she's been given houses.
I'm a very peaceful man.
You are.
I don't like fighting and all of that. Look, the woman herself told this country that this is what you have done for her. Okay? So I'm saying, she says she'll be president. Kwesi Ndum says she'll be president. He'll be president. Ayariga says he'll be president. Nana Akufo-Addo says he'll be president. John Mahama says he'll be president. You can say that. That's not a problem. But you don't go ahead and make commitments on the basis that you will be president. You cannot.
You see, that is what Nana.
Okay, you cannot.
Okay, now, so that's your worry. Okay,
but let me address that issue before you.
Okay, address it.
Let me address that issue.
Address it.
You know that government is a continuum. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you know that the budget for next year will be approved in November? So what are you saying? What are you saying?
Okay.
The budget for next year will be approved in November. November this year. And I'm saying that the president, the finance minister, on the authority of the president, is going to present the fiscal, policies and financial policies of the country before Parliament. And all commitments
for 2017
will be made. So what are you saying?
Okay,
but I want to assure you that the good Lord has spoken to President John Dramani Mahama that he will continue to rule come January 2017. And he's speaking for Ghanaians will continue to entrust the continuity power into his hand to be able to continue. So what we are saying is neither here nor there. We are committing ourselves to loans, several things for years. Are you saying that the president will not be in Ghana for next 5 years? So he shouldn't sign a loan that commits government to develop and then pay the loan in 2 years and 5 years time.
You see,
yours is more propaganda than because you should know better. What they say, this statement must not come from Nana Kumia. You've been in government, and you should know better.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. You see, the president is making personal commitments.
Not personal. He's the president of Ghana. The budget is presented on the authority of the president. The president is not a person. The president is an institution. The president is an institution.
You see, that is why I was careful that he is making commitments on the basis that he will do something next year.
And he will be there to do it.
If you are doing it, government is signing MOU and all of that, another government may come and may decide that even this agreement that you signed with them, they will vary it.
So what is your problem?
They will vary it.
So what is your problem?
So we don't say...
So the president should sit down and say, because this is an election year, he will not do anything and wait until he get the second term.
I've made my point. Now, my point is that the president should not go and be making commitments as if he would be in office next year. No. You can hold that belief, but don't go and say next year you do this for A, B, C, D. Because you may not be.
Let me remind another. President Kufuor on the 6th of January, when he was exiting, and will not be president again. Do you know the commitment that he made?
Okay.
Fair wages and salaries. He signed it on the 6th of January. He made a He signed it.
He didn't sign
He signed it on the 6th of January.
Yes, but
he made appointment on the 6th of January when he was exiting the next day. Please give me a break.
President Kufuor didn't sign it.
Okay, all right.
And started that I will do this for you.
Okay, he signed it when he knew and everybody is like, we're going to handle.
But
I said President Mahama shouldn't do that.
You see, what I'm speaking, you are shouting.
Okay, we're running out of time. I thought you wanted us to deal with this.
You see, Mahama shouldn't be putting these things out as if he's the one.
He'll be there. He'll be there. Live
on the survey, my brother, the CDD have done a survey in July last month. They found that 70% of the Ghanaian people do not believe that President Mahama is offering the kind of leadership they need. Of course, the NDC, they've come out to denigrate the CDD, which is very unfortunate. If you disagree with the work somebody has done, you can state your disagreement. You don't need to denigrate them. They've denigrated, they said the people are NPP people, and they are doing work for the NPP and it's all a scam. What is the need for that? If you disagree with work done by an institution, state your point of disagreement. Don't go and denigrate them. They do that against doctors. Doctors go on strike. They say NPP went and had a meeting with the doctors at Koforidua. Nurses go on strike. They say the NPP is behind it. What kind of government is this? But you see, the CDD survey, which found that the majority of people say President Mahama has failed in delivering employment, in delivering economic growth, improvement of their livelihoods, checking corruption, and all of that. That finding that the CDD has made is mirrored in the findings that the IEA made. They also had a similar survey, and they discovered that the majority of the people that they spoke to said poverty was killing them, and that their main interest was how poverty can be relieved or improved, which is exactly what CDD is saying. The EIU survey, the Economist Intelligence Unit, I don't know if they are also supporters of the NPP. They also have done two major surveys. The first one, they found that the many Ghanaians were not happy with the economic management of President Mahama. And so they were going to vote against President Mahama.
No, they didn't say that.
They said
they did not vote against, said they were not happy.
No. Let me tell you exactly, because you can get your producers. In fact, in the survey 6 months ago, they said the margin was going to be small. In the last one they did, which was 3 months ago, they said that the margin was becoming bigger. So they actually talked about the... So,
I see.
And even if you forget about all these surveys, 2 days ago, there's TUC. They told President Mahama in his face that you have failed.
Sure.
They told him in his face that he has failed, and that they even told him to get out of the IMF. They said that the single spine that you give us has become useless because of inflation, because of the fall in the value of the currency, and also the IMF, which has removed all subsidies, and that we are suffering, that we cannot take it anymore. That's what they told him 2 days ago in Kumasi.
Now, are you also not intrigued by these same service you're referring to, the EIU and then the CDD report?
Yes,
it's suggesting that the same persons who are saying this are suggesting that perhaps in the next couple of months into next year, 2017, they're likely to see a change. The report also talks about something like that.
Which one?
A change in the economy.
Which one talking about?
The EIU report said that in 2016, whichever government wins power, we see an economy that is in very
because the people are anticipating a change.
Okay.
Now,
So you think that when there is a change by January 2017, then they will improve.
Wrap up for me.
Let me talk small.
Why?
Oh, talking
Why?
to...
Why? You want to hijack the program?
Okay,
Let him talk. Let him
Oh, we are wrapping. I thought you were wrapping up for him to
The
come.
man is
He has
shouting
nothing.
on me.
He's not.
He won't
No,
let me
he's not
finish.
shouting on you.
Have I shouted on
He's
you?
not shouting on you.
I have not shouted. You have nothing to say.
Oh, but how can your senior brother shout?
But that's why I'm surprised.
No, he will shout.
Listen,
Okay,
right,
so let me
right,
conclude.
right, you know.
Okay, let me conclude.
Nana, conclude. Like
My
this was
conclusion is that these surveys and all these sentiments that have been expressed by TUC, the worker unions and all of that, the NDC is in denial. We have been telling them. Look, you tell them you are thirsty, they will tell you they are doing a bridge at Nkrumah. You tell them you can't pay school fees, they will tell you we are doing a bridge at Kaswa. You tell them you are hungry, they will tell you they are doing extension at a Ridge Hospital. I mean, the things that worry, Togbesri, you know Togbesri,
Nana Rapper.
the Awemefia. He told President Mahama in his face that, look, you've come and done some roads and so on, we like it. But the thing that worries us really is poverty and unemployment.
Okay. All right.
Well, you see,
Nana, I'm grateful.
let me say that Nana and his people can always glorify themselves with service.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you see, in sometimes when we are going to elections,
The TUC.
look,
Tell him
TUC,
TUC.
in the history of this country,
Tell him.
I have never heard the TUC meeting government and telling government that you have satisfied all our demands, so you are doing well. I've never heard it. You have been an employment minister before.
They were very happy
Everybody,
when
it is never true.
there.
TUC always
The
has something
records
to
are
complain about. So, I mean, that is the workers' union.
were happy
for
with
you.
single spine.
You see, that is the workers' union. When
were
did
happy with single
when was single spine implemented?
2000.
Kufuor signed it when it was a day to leave office. So please
And
don't
the-
say
the
if
workers also
anybody
signed.
is happy about single spine, then it means that Professor Mills came and implemented single spine, and they were happy with the level of implementation. Let me say that you can
you don't
be
have-
happy
you don't
with
have
your
that.
service. In elections, every election year, MPP are given miles of a percentage that they are going to win.
Oh, how?
I mean, it's always come.
So you are giving that?
This person will do a survey. This is winning. This
You know
is winning.
Ben Epson?
Fine, please.
You know
please,
Ben Epson?
Please wait. You wait.
Nana, you allow him to learn, and then we'll wrap
So
up.
I am not worried about this service that they are doing, because you see,
But
you
the
go.
fact that the party is denigrating the CDD is
We
that
are
what-
not
is that what the
delegating
party-
CDD.
Okay, yeah, because
CDD, we have had our
he
challenges.
mentioned that.
We have had our challenges with CDD for a very long time because of some of the partisan approach that they take. You do a survey, a population of about 26 million. You pick 2,400 people, and indeed, it is not a large sample enough for one to even conclude that at the end of the day, this is a representation of what is going to happen across the country.
So you have problems with the method?
It depends on your sample size. It depends on how dispersed they are. It depends on whether you did a convenient sampling, whatever it is. But we are not worried at all. For me, it's a challenge. Once, at the end of the day, when they did all this, they say when they check about voting, about 48 point something say they vote for President Mahama. You are saying that 70%. In fact, I have been in this country, and Bright, you have been a media person. Every end of year, go to the market and street and ask people, what is the economy? How are things going? Everybody say, I feel there, I feel now, I feel there. I mean, that has been the cliche. So I am not worried. We believe that this poverty that he's talking about, poverty can be alleviated when you have good roads. When somebody is coming all the way from Bimbila to Accra, and that person will have his car stuck, and his yam that is carrying gets rotten for 3, 4, 5 days on the Eastern Corridor Road, and today it used to take them 1 week, and today they take 1 day and come, and they move again and go and do their work. If the taxi driver, who used to be in the circle traffic for 45 minutes, can now spend less than 10 minutes to go through that traffic, we are putting money into the pocket of that person. So I am saying that, for instance, recently, when the Senche Bridge was closed, the challenges that people went through when they were using the ferry. Okay. Today, the bridge has been widened, and people are doing business, and you say we are not putting money in their pocket. Okay. Fine. The people who know the benefit of the infrastructure we are doing, the roads that we are doing, the schools that we are constructing, the hospitals. If you have good medical care and you are healthy, it is better than having money in your pocket and dying.
Okay, I'm grateful.
That's all.
And I want to conclude.
He has concluded already. He has no conclusion to give. Because
In
my
the-
protest is that Nana came and hijacked your program, and then survey was not part of your and he brought it in.
No, I want
You came and hijacked the program, and then you decided that to bring an agenda.
Because the money-
Set the agenda here.
because the money-
You have no conclusion.
Because the senior
yes, you have no conclusion. I'm grateful. Then I'm
in
grateful.
have no
2000
conclusion.
2008,
I'm grateful.
You have
These are
no
facts.
conclusion.
In
You have no conclusion.
2008, this country's economy grew by 8.4%. Now, they say they've done roads that nobody has seen before. They've done hospitals that nobody has seen before. But the growth rate now is less than 5.
Okay.
You were talking
Okay,
about
all right.
inflation.
Okay, all
You
right.
left us with inflation of
move on.
18 point
All right,
something percent. Now inflation has dropped to 16 point something. Are you aware of that?
Mr. Fusampofu is the first vice chair.
He has now become propaganda. They've taken the propaganda from us. MPP have taken the
Of the
propaganda
NDC,
from
gentlemen.
NDC.
I'm
And they are now
grateful.
doing the propaganda.
Have a great weekend. And thanks so much for joining me here. Hope to see you some other time.